It is 9:51 a.m. I just got out of a trade, and this was a very speculative trade. I didn't trade as much size as I should have. I probably should have traded 40,000 shares, but I did do 30, and I was considering just doing 20 at one point because this is like a sketchy OTC that trades with a spread sometimes, and it's just a sub penny on top of that. And it's only been up one day, which is also against it. And it's one of these that don't have like a daily chart on E-Trade Pro, and those always seem to trade the weirdest. But this one will be interesting to just see what it can do over a longer period of time. I did buy this one. Why did I buy it? Because it was just down a lot from the previous first run up day, and I thought I could try to do a bounce setup, and it did do one, but it's just kind of strange the way this one trades. I bought 30,000 shares at 939, which was right here, this candle, and that was at 33. If I was more aggressive, I could have bought at 32, but I'm okay with it being at 33. And then worst case scenario in this setup, it breaks a day low, it breaks under this 30 sub penny level. I'm selling in the 20s. And yeah, this one took some time. It did uptrend a little bit higher. It did get to the VWAP level. I sold 10,000 shares at 34, which was right here at 944. I sold some at 34, and then I sold another 10,000 shares. This wasn't 34, this was actually rounded up. It was 33 and a half at 946. And I was just watching it. It looks like it was starting to be kind of sketchy looking, but there was a point when I wanted to sell, and I did not have the ability to sell at 33 when it was like support for a very long time. I tried to sell at 950, which was this candle right here, but unfortunately I was just a few seconds too late, and I was not able to get out until it was at 32. So this was basically a break-even trade. I must be up a tiny amount of money. In fact, let me just see if I have a chart that I could look at. Yeah, I might be up like $1, just something tiny, because this was yesterday, right? 3,798. Now we're at 3,820 pennies. I will continue to watch this one and see what it can do, but yeah, once it was starting to break past this trend line, I was more and more interested to get out of my position. I guess I should have just been quicker with the last piece because I just thought, if it starts to fail, we have a nice amount of people supporting it at 33. I should be able to get out before it breaks through that, and that wasn't the case. It broke through it pretty quickly with all this volume. That's pretty much the case for right now. I haven't looked at the other ones too much. There isn't really anything that I see here that's interesting. I was looking at this one if it was going to potentially break past this, maybe this 14.4 level, but it hasn't been able to do that. The volume just isn't there either. I'm going to probably start to delete some of these because they kind of dried up. They don't have much volume. I'll be looking at my scans to see if there's anything that's running. Basically, break even trade so far with PPCB. I will make an update later. Alright, it is 5:27 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on a day just a little bit. $1.25. That was that trade with PPCB that ended up being a scratch. It didn't really uptrend that much. The best case scenario with this stock would have been something like maybe it was doing that building up and everything, and then we break past VWAP, and then maybe we could get a run towards the 38s, or maybe even try to get close to the day high. It would be kind of hard for it to have, went all the way above this 40 level because that's a lot of resistance, but it could have been something that could have ran towards the mid to the high 38s. And that would have been a pretty profitable setup. Just in theory, let's see what it would have been if I sold maybe at 37, right? Yeah, that would have been pretty profitable, a nice percent gain. And I am trading, a $40 risk level, so my size isn't that huge. Although in this case, I should have had 40,000 shares because that would have made it exactly a $40 risk level. I was just a bit iffy with this stock because of how, it was trading. And this one was extremely sketchy. But it offered a nice move, and it's kind of been destroyed by this little wick right here that threw off the entire chart. Maybe I can try to do something about that. Let me see if I can just briefly try something. But I guess it won't really go over the entire pattern. Yeah, I guess this one actually shows it. This thing was actually broken. Wow, what happened to my English there? This thing was actually breaking past the 3 cent level, and I was watching it for a long time. It was kind of scary, a little too scary for me, but this thing actually did break past the 3 cent level, and it got as high as the 4 cent level, which is huge in terms of percentage. That's like a 33% move, and it continued to trade back and forth. I just no longer had an interest in trading it once the chart got glitched. Unfortunately, that just throws it off. There isn't really anything else I would have done with this, and it looks like it had a super crazy run up towards the upside. This one trades with a very wide spread, so it can be a bit scary. That's pretty much it for today. Nothing interesting with TGGI, and this one just sold off. Unfortunately, it was just one of those that just runs a lot one day and then the next day it sells off. And this one sold off as well. No interest in dip buying it. I learned my lessons with that. That's pretty much it for today. Just one scratch trade, but there was a nice potential to consider this one when it was breaking above that 3 cent level. That's it for today.